Yardy harmy hearties, and welcome to News and Thoughts with Captain Jars. News and Thoughts is a new, possibly, series thing where I bring you space engineers news, but more importantly, my thoughts about them and my opinions, and a little bit reading into the news more than just telling you about the news. So it's more of a podcast thing, almost. Hopefully not as long as usually a podcast is. Anyway, keep in mind that these are my thoughts and opinions, and they are not facts. It's just my thoughts and opinions, and they do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of Marek Rosa or Keen Software House. Disclaimer done. Let's get to the news. Yesterday, December 3rd, we got this post from Marek Rosa. Super exciting post. It's awesome. So what I'll do is that I will read a little bit of text and then I will analyze it for you and see what we can get out of it. One of the bigger features that we are going to release very soon is the exploration. Together with super large worlds and procedural asteroids. More details in a future blog post. We need your feedback, and that is why I'm declassifying it prematurely. So let's start from the beginning. One of the biggest features, release very soon. I just want to make a thing here to explain that very soon for Keen Software House usually isn't very soon for most people. And this may not be true. This is just something that I have semi-observed before. When they say very soon, it can take a few months before what they said was going to happen very soon actually happens. So don't sit on the F5 button just yet. I don't think we will be seeing this next week or the week after that. I would expect at least 3 weeks and maybe a month or even 2. I wouldn't expect more than that. So what they are releasing is exploration together with super large worlds and procedural asteroids. And exploration is explained in greater detail down here, so we'll just skip that for now. But basically it's procedural generation, infinite worlds, which is going to be really, really, really nice. But they have another element in them that makes it even more amazing, so it becomes a real exploration. But we'll get to that very soon. Super large worlds sounds like what we have now, but larger. And procedural asteroids is pretty much exploration without the exploration. Well, you can explore, but there won't be much to find. And that is the key to exploration. The exploration feature will add a practically infinite number of ships and stations to the game world. So there will always be something new to discover, explore, acquire, and conquer. You can imagine it like this. You are traveling in some direction and there is an asteroid in front of you somewhere. So you decide to check it and see if there's something in its tunnels, in its proximity, or in its surface. Or you just fly through empty space and boom, a lost wreck shows near you. Exploration is an upgrade to how cargo ships work. First of all, practically infinite number of ships, so there will be a lot of ships. I'm not sure how frequent they will be, but I think we can assume that at least every asteroid that you find is going to have at least a station, a ship near it, or inside it in its tunnel, so you can find it near asteroids, probably crashed ships in that in the case that you find a ship inside the asteroid. A thought I have here is that navigation might become a problem. It is not today because we have such a small world. How do you find back to your places? Will you have to put beacons everywhere? Will they add some sort of map? Or will there possibly be a XYZ coordinate system? If you know where a place is, and you've been there before, how do you find your way back? It might not be a problem because of the beacons that we have now, but that would mean that you would have to build beacon pods that you have everywhere, and that might become really spammy. But I do see navigation possibly becoming a problem with these large worlds. How will you find your friends if they don't want to throw up a beacon that the enemies can find? Stuff like that. I'm not sure. It might not become a problem. It might be a problem that they want us to have as a challenge. but we will see that in the future, of course. Okay, so this next part here is, I think Keen has, I think they've done a little prediction and seen the comments, won't this many ships cause lag? And here is their premature response. So I won't read all of it because it's a lot of text. So they mention here that if it contains millions of ships, which I'm not sure how they would fit in millions of ships, but a lot of ships, they say that it has to be implemented in a CPU/RAM friendly way. So instead of having all the ships loaded into the game all the time, because that would be pretty much impossible, then they only load in the ships that you can actually see. And the ones that you can't see, or when you stop seeing a ship, it will be unloaded from the RAM, which will save CPU and RAM. The most interesting thing here is that only altered ships are stored persistently. And the really important part here is that what this means is altered means damaged. If you shoot at a ship, enter a cockpit or change any value in the terminal, it will have been altered and saved. And this of course won't change anything, it will all seem very persistent. And if this works as it should, you won't notice this at all. This is just technical mumbo jumbo. If it works as it should, then it's not something that the player will need to know. It just works. And the last part here about the exploration is that ships won't have AI for now. Maybe later. Some will have disabled reactors, some will be active with turrets waiting for you, and only cargo ships will be moving. Ships won't have AI for now. Maybe later. Sounds like a pretty clear hint that Keen does indeed intend to add AI in the future. Maybe. And a YouTube clip from the Space Engineers channel posted less than an hour after this dev blog post confirms that they are indeed working on an astronaut NPC AI, or at least a humanoid AI. Dun, 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 dun. So here we get to the most important part of the post, I believe, at least for Keen. This is the call for player-created content. And here they have a few suggestions on how to get all these ships and stations and asteroids into the game from nowhere, because we don't have any ships right now. So the first suggestion here is that we could develop a procedural ship station generator, which would require a lot of additional work, and the result will never be as good as what a creative human can do. The second option here is to hire dozens of designers who would design these ships while not working on new scenarios and missions. The last option is of course the most optimal and best, and even the community have been asking for this since the workshop was released, and it would be to take the ships on the workshop and put them in the game for everyone to play with. And that is just what they are suggesting here, and they are kind of asking for permission, which they really don't need to, but it's really nice that they do anyway. So there's a little bit of a link here to the poll, and you can see that it's 92% of people are saying use the community's created ships. The last little bit of piece here is the kind of rules on how you get a ship from the workshop into the game. And it is of course that it's a small, large ship, asteroid, outpost, hidden station, mining operation, and semi-automated drones, etc. So that's basically just what they will put into the world. I'm pretty interested in what semi-automated drones actually mean and what that will be. And only performance-friendly works. As I said, the really, really large ships can't be put into the game because they just don't run on most PCs. So it will mostly be medium-sized large ships or small large ships. And only ships that are not using mods, which is a necessary decision because you can't force everyone to use mods, so don't use them. You can, of course, as they say later on, add your own modded ship to your worlds, etc. I'm not sure how that will work, how easy it will be, but it's probably not going to be that hard. And no third-party intellectual property, which means that no Star Wars ships, no Star Trek or Mass Effect ships. So that's a little bit sad. No My Little Pony ships either. Nothing like that. It's a little bit sad, but it does make sense. It would also feel kind of weird to fly around a world and suddenly there is a Star Destroyer or something like that. Would probably be too big to make it into the game, but let's say a TIE fighter or an X-Wing or something, it would feel a bit weird to have that in the game anyway. So that is the post. I recommend you go in and vote on the poll here. You will find it in the description below. And I gotta say once again, just some general thoughts, is that my only concern about this at all is that navigation might be a bit difficult, but I think they have a plan on this. It seems very thought out overall. I think that is something they want as a challenge, but it would be really nice to have some form of 3D map where you can see where your beacons are in reference to each other. Overall, it is a very, very exciting post. It's something that we have been wanting for a really, really long time, and it is nice to see that it is very close to being releasable. I wouldn't say completely, because rarely is it completed the first time they release it. But at least they have something that they can give us pretty soon, and it will be really interesting to play around with. And having mobile bases will become like a necessity if you want to explore it. Well, yes, there are so many things you can do with this exploration. I am really, really interested, and I want to play this as soon as possible. So Hurricane, it's really nice of them to ask for our permission to use the workshop, so thank you for that, Keen. It's really nice of you. Anyway, that's all I have for today. If I missed anything, it will be in the description below. If something have changed, it will be in the description below, so make sure that you read in the description and you will find all the links and stuff like that. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike, and I shall see you next time.